Hello again, Pastor Michael Jarboe here. Welcome to another edition of Soul Care, conversations to help renew the spirit. I'm glad you're here. Check out today's episode. Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Soul Care. I'm Pastor Michael today, Michael Jarboe, because I got fine-tune that piece because we have another Pastor Michael with us today, my dear friend and colleague here in the Texas Annual Conference in the greater Houston area. I'm with Pastor Mike Whang, and let me tell you, for the first time ever, we have two people we're interviewing at the same time on Soul Care. Oh, dude, so good. Do you want to go ahead? Who is that? Can you introduce us, Brother Mike?
Sure. This is my 2-month-old daughter, Haven, and I guess she's making her Memorial Drive debut today.
I love it. Yes, indeed. Oh man, thank you so much for taking some time on your paternity leave for speaking with us today on Soul Care, brother. It's been a gift to get to do ministry with you for the past few years, and kind of cool full circle to get to interview today for our community at MDUMC. For those of you watching, Mike is one of my dear friends in my covenant group who's been praying for me and my ministry and for MDUMC over the past few years, and so I'm really grateful for him. Just a little caveat there on that regard. But we've been interviewing, if you've seen the past 2 weeks, we've had some church planters that have come on and spoken about how they're navigating life in ministry. And so I thought we'd get a church planter from our own neck of the woods. And I wanted to have Mike on to speak a little bit today about Oikon UMC, a church plant that he started. So Mike, could you just introduce yourself a little bit more and share with us how you found yourself planting Oikon today?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. What's up, Memorial Drive? Nice to meet you. My name is Mike. I was born in Korea, grew up in Los Angeles, was a starving musician like everybody else in Los Angeles, and then got an audio engineering degree at University of Southern California, worked in sales for a little while for the LA Clippers, and then got a call to ministry. And long story short, I found myself getting my MDiv at Duke Divinity School. And then my last semester at Duke, I saw a sign on I forget what it's called, like the Career Center equivalent of a seminary.
Yeah.
There's a sign that said free food. And so I signed up. And I didn't notice on the bottom of that sign, it said Texas Annual Conference of the Methodist Church.
That's how we get you, bro.
Yeah. So I just wanted some spaghetti. So I signed up and then met the Reverend Jeff Olive, and he somehow convinced me to come down to Texas and meet with the Bishop, Janice Huey. And then after that, the meeting after Bishop Huey was, I don't know how or why Jeff Olive organized it like this, but it went from Bishop Huey to the Reverend Michael Jarboe, who at the time was just a young buck. He's just a young buck, you know. He's not the refined, polished senior associate.
Oh no!
Today, he's just a fresh out of seminary kid. We all were, and I really enjoyed my conversations with everyone. And I think I've been paying for that spaghetti ever since, because that led to me coming down to be part of the conference. And my first 2 appointments were to Christ Church in Sugar Land. Shout out to anybody that's tuning in from there. And then I was at Jarboe United Methodist Church, an incredible church in the Memorial area. And just this past month, I've been appointed to be the lead pastor of a brand new church start called Oikon United Methodist Church. So it's quite a journey being a Methodist clergy person, as you know, Mike. And I'm just, I don't know who your previous church planting guests were, but I feel like just like I went from Bishop Huey to Michael Jarboe, I feel like there might be like a little bit of a drop off here. Or
Whoa,
I don't know.
Whoa, I think you're talking
trending the other way. Because I think it trended the other way when I Got what did we get? Union Kitchen, dude. I got the
Union
shrimp
Kitchen.
tacos,
Well
bro. The shrimp
done.
tacos at Union Kitchen. Yeah,
That's exactly right.
I think you were wearing some Dallas Cowboy socks, if I remember correctly.
You remember right. And when you show off America's team, magic happens even in Houston. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially this year. I mean, just what an organization, really. Can we get off that subject, please? Thank you. I guess, yeah. Okay, that's a good story. So you mentioned Oikon launching in this past month. Congratulations, by the way. So exciting for you guys. I mean, yeah. So tell us a little bit more about like what the question I wrote for you was what makes Oikon unique? Is that the right question? Or where are you seeing Christ work through and in Oikon? Remember, you don't have 2 hours here to answer this question because you probably could, Mike Whang. But like, how would you? What makes Oikon different?
Well, in many ways, we're no different than any other church. We worship God and want to be disciples and followers of Jesus. But the way that we articulate, our the way that we translate the mission of all Methodists, which is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. The way that we articulate it is like this. We say the last thing that the world needs in a global pandemic and with all the racial injustice that is taking place and at the forefront of our consciousness, the last thing that this world needs, and especially the last thing that Houston needs, is another worship service or another church that says, hey, come check us out. We're better than the church down the street. What our souls crave, what you and I crave right now, is authentic, honest, reliable friendships, and friendships with people that we can practice spiritual formation and social justice with. So the way that we say it is, we're a covenant community devoted to spiritual formation and social justice. And I could go on for 2 hours, so I don't really quite know what exactly you're looking for in terms of what that looks like. But what makes us unique is this is the worst time possible to plant the church. It's a pandemic. The pastor just had a baby.
Yep.
And we don't have a building. We don't have any assets. It's just a group of 40, 50 people who are bought into this vision. Like, we want to be reliable with one another. We often say the church is a people who say to each other, the local church is a people who say to each other, you can count on me. And so 40, 50 of us that just say, hey, you can count on me. I'm going to be praying for you. I'm going to be practicing the way of Jesus alongside of you. And I'm going to be present in the life of this community. And so that's what we are. And we're 1 month in, and it's been amazing, bro. The kind of, sorry, that Haven wants to chime in a little bit.
Hey, yeah, feel free to speak up, Haven, no problem.
No, it's beautiful. And one of the unique things, I appreciate you disclaiming that question. I don't know if this is the right adjective to ascribe to us, but we have people of all different social, economic, ethnic, and generational, regional backgrounds. It is a beautiful thing. We're a small community, and yet we've got folks from the Fifth Ward. We got transplants from New York. We've got young families, Asian, Hispanic. We also have several folks in the LGBTQ community. And it's beautiful to see, because we so emphasize relationships. It's wonderful to see them connect with each other and then see how the Spirit moves, not necessarily through the sermon, but through the space of people spending time together. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah. So then let me just pull you a little bit further. What then? I think what excites you about the future of Oikon? Like, what do you? What's the stuff that kind of keeps you up? That because you just like know, well, you trust in God that you can see this in the horizon.
Well, one of the, there's a lot of challenges with being a church plant, but one of the gifts is that we get to really build and establish our values.
Mm.
And so we have some clear value statements that we make. Like we're not trying to be an attractional church. There's plenty of those and good ones at that, where God is present. But we have a clarity of our identity, and our leaders are all bought in. We want to be a church that challenges folks to follow Jesus, and we talk about, like, Oikon wants to be not just a safe place where everyone's welcome, but a safe place where everyone's challenged, as well as welcomed. But so when you talk about things like money, when you talk about things like loving your enemy, when you talk about things like being present, as basic as that is, we get to say, this is what we value and this is what we're going to live into. And so what that looks like, we don't know, but I think it's such a gift to be able to say, here are our values. And then because we're small enough, we can all say, all right, let's live into this together.
Yeah. So good, man. And just continue prayers for Oikon. And I invite all those who are listening right now, just to lift up a prayer for this budding faith community that's building and growing from all over Houston. And what a beautiful image of what the kingdom of God looks like. So thank you, man, for sharing a little about Oikon. As I said a little earlier to you, soul care kind of got its form from just checking in on people's souls throughout this. It used to be just like quarantine. I used to be like this unique season where we're all in our house. I'm just throwing it up to 2020. Like, for people in 2020, how are they handling and things going on, just checking in. So we always, one of our favorite things to quote is this African proverb that says, a person becomes a person through other people. And so we've been asking people who have jumped on the interview with Soul Care, like, who is a person right now in your life or in your season, or maybe even feel free to go deeper back into the course of your life that have been one that you've leaned on during this time of 2020.
So Haven's birthday she's a 2020 baby, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And this is the only world that she's ever known. And my answer to your question is my two daughters, man. They remind me each day that every breath that we have is a gift. Because they're just, don't get me wrong, they got their meltdown moments, but generally speaking, they enjoy life.
Yeah.
And then, like, for Haven, like, where she literally depends on me and my wife for sustenance, it's just a reminder, like a living metaphor, a living sermon illustration in my house about how fortunate I am, in so many ways, even in light of what's going on. And so, yeah, man, these
Cool.
two humans in my world, dude, they remind me that, it's not that bad. It's not so bad. Every breath is a gift.
Yeah. Oh, man. Great answer.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was. No, it was. You've got, the thing is, Mike Whang, you could have, there's just a ton of people that are very influential in your life, and you've got a lot of mentors. And I just, sure, people might say your daughter is an easy answer, but I don't think it is. I think it's, thank you for being truthful about that. It's beautiful. And yeah, you haven't mentioned Zoe's name. Zoe is an Instagram famous baby, basically, for me and my wife, Leslie, who just always are like, have you seen the newest Zoe video? Have you seen? Yeah, Zoe is, she's trending on baby Twitter. She's, the funniest thing. And then the cute pictures with Haven. So we're big fans in Jarboe House.
Yeah.
So you've talked about them teaching you. What's something that you have learned about yourself in this quarantine time? Uh,
Yeah.
how's it affected yourself as a church planter,
Bro,
as a father?
it's so like, I don't know how candid you guys get on these calls, but
Yeah, yeah, and go for it, bro.
no. It's been challenging, like everyone, right?
Yeah,
And you know, church planting is like, it's like it's like when you're trying to birth something new, when God is birthing something new, every birth canal is messy. Like I imagine, like I think Jesus's birth. We don't talk about how messy that must have been for Mary and Joseph, right?
right.
And I feel like my world the last 2 months have been, helping, seeing my wife give birth to Haven and all that my wife has gone through, and then in planting a church, everything that our community has gone through to be a church plant. It's been wonderful and challenging and stressful. And I think what I'm learning, this is what I'm learning, bro. Like, I'm learning that adulting is just learning how to regulate your emotions. Let me tell you what I mean. Like being an adult, the difference between me and this child
Yeah,
is when she is hungry, she just cries. Wah! And
right.
then someone's gonna come and give her food, right?
Yeah,
But like for us, when we have needs and wants, right, physical or emotional, like we need to do the work of processing. What is it that I'm feeling? What is it that my body and my soul needs right now? And then how am I going to go about meeting those needs, right?
yeah,
And that's what adulting really is. That's what life comes down to, is being able to process your emotional reactivity
yeah.
against the kind of person that you want to be and how you want to show up in different contexts. And so like there have been many moments where I've either been anxious or angry or like feeling very inadequate. And it's funny because those are things that pastors feel all the time. I don't care what kind of pastors you've had in your life, but or how pastors in y'all's world portray themselves. Every
Uh-huh.
pastor deals with uh, anger
Yeah.
and insecurity and anxiety. And I didn't know that until I became a pastor. I thought being a pastor would have been like not that bad. But apparently, like there have been mornings where I wake up just like overwhelmed with these waves of anxiety. But now it's like that's happened so many times now in the last 5 years that it's like, oh, hey, that's anxiety. I felt this before, right?
Mm,
Instead of just like anxiety, somebody help me, like I'm able to recognize, oh, I'm feeling anxious, which means I need to make sure I'm watching what I'm eating, make sure that I'm, spending time in prayer, make sure that I'm processing my emotions with people
right.
I trust, make sure I'm avoiding certain personalities and certain behaviors and patterns that will only make that anxiety worse, and then like living according to the kind of person that I want to be, right? So whether it's anxiety or anger, or whether it's just like being stressed out from all that 2020 is, like being able to recognize, okay, here's what I'm feeling. How do I best take care of myself in this situation?
Wow. I'm going to be sitting with that adulting line. Adulting is just learning how to manage your emotions for a
Yeah,
minute.
regulating your emotions, right. Because we're reactive, right?
Oh,
And I
we
think,
are. We are, dude.
yeah, and I think maturity, and I would say spiritual growth,
Yeah.
simply learning to be less reactive and learning to live not from a base of what the circumstance or situation causes you to feel, but living from a place of vision, from a place of values, right? So like when I'm pissed off and I'm like, yo man, if this girl cries one more time, or like if this, because we're trying to get Zoe to sleep in her room, if this cute Instagram baby comes out of that room one more time, like I need to regulate, like, okay, why am I so animated right now?
Yeah.
And I gotta ask, what kind of dad do I want to be?
Oh,
How do I want to show up in this little girl's life, right? And then live from that place, not from my frustration. That's it, man. That's adulting. That's pastoring. That's life, right? So when like, when the church planting stressors come, like,
yeah.
oh, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? Like, it's like, okay, calm down, bro. Slow your roll, and process. Like, what's the thing behind the anxiety? What does your soul need? And often we, like, what I'm learning is like, I just need to go back to the place of prayer
Yeah.
and remember, what we say we believe as Christians, that we are the beloved children of God, and that God calls us to a particular way of life. And when I'm in that place, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to succeed or fail living into these set of values and beliefs.
Ooh. You mean we actually have to practice what we preach, Mike?
No, I didn't say that. You got to smoke your own product, bro.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now you've crossed the. Just kidding. Dude, so good. No, that's great. No, thank you for that honesty. And it's a lifelong journey to learn how to do that, thankfully. And thankfully, grace is also lifelong too. Or a lot of us would be in trouble in that regard. Okay, let me move to the last question before the speed round, brother. Thank you again for all this great work here. We just ask, are you familiar with a man by the name of John Wesley? Don't know if you've church.
Yeah, I think he was an 18th century Anglican priest, if I recall.
Yeah, and then he did his thing where he was like, I want something a little more different, and he kind of started this movement.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, our jokes back and forth between you and I would kill in Methodist comedy halls.
Isn't that what this is for?
I think so.
Time.
Yeah, but mostly. Okay, John Wesley.
John Wesley had girl problems in the States, so moved back to England, and then had a strange warming of the heart and all that.
Yeah, Wesley in History from Mike Whang. Yeah, exactly. There's a 50 Cent song there that. Hey, yeah. Okay. John Wesley would ask his his church planters. He'd ask his fellow disciples of Christ, not how are you, but the question, how is it with your soul? And so, brother to brother, want to ask you, man, today, how is it with your soul? How are you? How are you doing? How's your soul?
My soul is at peace, and it is full of gratitude, and it is also processing a lot of things, and on the mend from from different wounds and baggages that I need to let go of, but mostly the soul is in a place of gratitude, man. I think happiness is, I forget where I heard this, but happiness is not a matter of circumstance, it's a matter of perspective. And I think so much of prayer is about renewing our perspective, right? Paul says, do not be conformed to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I think that renewing is often taking on a certain lens or taking on a new vantage point that leads you to a place of gratitude. And so, thankfully, I didn't name drop anyone, but you said I got some mentors in my life, and I'm grateful for them because that's often what they do is they help my soul
Yeah.
recalibrate its vision. And so between, the prayer practices and these mentors and colleagues such as yourself help me see things from multiple perspectives. I'm full of gratitude, but also, man, like this right here
Yeah.
takes the edge off, bro. It takes the edge off. Having children just like has really helped me resize, what's important
Yeah.
in the world. And so, man, I think my soul is in a place of gratitude.
Great. Well, Mike, you've made it to the final rapid.
No, you need some theme music, bro. You need some like segment.
I have been going. Does that work? Could you help me? You're a starving artist.
Starving pastor is what I am.
Starving pastor. All right. Tomato. Here we go, brother. I've been looking forward to sharing these questions with you because there's some answers. There's some questions here I don't know the answer to with you. And
I haven't read these, just so you know. I haven't read these. So I'm ready. I haven't read them.
Yeah. Just not to call out Bishop Harvey, but I will name drop. I did interview Bishop Harvey from Louisiana,
Oh, okay.
Head of the Council of Bishops. You wouldn't understand. And I felt like she was ready for all of them a little bit more than I wanted her to be. So that the fact that you don't know them, here we go. You ready? First question. Also, I've stole a lot of these from Brene Brown because she's my spirit animal. Fill in the blank. Ministry is...
Not for the faint of heart.
There it is. All right. Question 2, you are called to be brave, but your fear is real right where you're at. What's the first thing that you do, Mike?
You slap fear upside the head and you jump.
Question 3, something people often get wrong about Reverend Michael Whang.
I can't speak Korean all that well. English is my second language.
Question 4, the last TV show you binged and loved.
I think it's been a while. BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman. Okay. Your favorite movie?
Denzel. Training Day.
Denzel and Training Day. Wow. Okay. What's a concert that you'll never forget?
David Crowder at First Presbyterian in Venice Beach. Oh no, First Pres Bel Air. Yeah, David Crowder, First Pres Bel Air. Yeah, California.
Bro.
That changed my life.
Was that one of those, was that like country, like was that when he was doing like the banjo thing or pre-banjo, like electronica thing? Or are we going like way back?
Yeah, before all of that. This was when he was University Baptist Church.
Oh, yeah.
In Waco.
In Waco. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was like 7th grade. That's what changed my world. Shout out to David Crowder. He's one of my mentors. I kind of like chop it up with him from time to time.
Oh, praise him. Come on. All right, question number 7. What are you reading right now?
Jesus and the Disinherited by Howard Thurman. That book's rocking my world, dude.
Yep.
Strongly recommend.
What's on your bedside table right now?
Probably like a wipe for Haven when she spits up.
Okay. A snapshot of a moment in your life that brings you joy.
Getting lunch at Union Kitchen with Michael Jarboe and Jeff Olive.
Woo! Tell me one thing you're deeply grateful for right now.
For just trying to not say my daughters and my wife, but my daughters and my wife, bro.
And last question. Question number 11. You've made it. When our time here on earth is done, what do you hope the first thing God says to you when you reach heaven?
That's a funky question.
Yeah, good.
Well done, good and faithful servant. Well done, good and faithful servant. That's the measure of success for a Christian, to hear God say, well done.
Yeah.
But never mind.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks for having me, Jarboe.
Oh, come on, Mike Whang. You were bound to be on Soul Care one of these days, and I'm grateful for you, brother. Thankful for you. Oh, man. Thanks, dude, for your time. Haven, love you bunches. Haven't met you yet, but just love you. It's like, for those of you watching, I can't tell what's Mike's goatee and what's Haven's hair right now, which is just a beautiful.
It's all her hair because it doesn't really grow.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the testosterone that Michael Jarboe has.
Stop. On that note, you will conclude this episode. And thank you, brother. God bless you.
Blessings to whoever listened all the way through this episode.
You are brave men and women if you did. All right, brother. Have a great one. Thank you so much. Blessings to Oikon. All right.
Peace.
Bye. Thank you so much for checking out Soul Care. Join us again next week at noon on Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye.